And we're told that Danny Bradley used to work for the Whirlpool plant in Evansville, commuting back and forth between Owensboro and Evansville.
These are appealing to the public to help raise the $150,000 needed for his heart transplant. Walmart stores agreed to place collection cans at their checkout stands to help the case of Dan Bradley. Bradley doesn't have the means to pay for the transplant, and donations have yielded just $1,500.
This is something that, you never expect to happen, and most people, especially like in our financial situation, there's no way they could afford something like this, and you have to depend on the community to pitch in and help.
Donations can also be made to the James Bradley Heart Fund at the International Bank Trust Department, P.O. Box 4956, Corpus Christi, zip code 78469.
Bradley suffers from a viral heart disease that attacks the heart muscle. The only cure, an expensive heart transplant. Today, family members and friends are busy distributing small donation canisters at a local store. So far, only $4,000 of the $150,000 they need has been raised. They hope once the community becomes aware of Bradley's problem, people will get more involved.
Time is closing in on a local man in need of a heart transplant. Danny Bradley says he has been approved as a candidate for the operation, but now needs at least $85,000. As Sylvia Zamaripa reports, his fellow college classmates haven't given up on raising that money.
About 100 people, along with the Veterans Band, spent this morning walking along the bayfront for a man who couldn't make the trek himself. Each participant donated at least $5 to help Danny Bradley pay for a heart transplant. Jesus Cardell dedicated his efforts to his mother, who died of heart complications.
It could be one of us in his same position, and today's for him, tomorrow could be for us.
Bradley says a recent visit to a Houston hospital resulted in some promising news.
They had a review board that had to go over the test and so forth, and I said everything's go for the operation except for the money. It's such a tremendous amount of money.
The surgery will cost at least $150,000. That doesn't cover medication, doctor's fees, or living expenses while he's recuperating. Before he can have the surgery, Bradley has to come up with $85,000 up front. But after a year of medication, the surgery is Bradley's only hope.
The medicine's not doing any good, and so the only hope I have is to get this heart. Otherwise, I'm just not going to make it. They don't give me very long either, 6 to 8 months.
Students at Del Mar have drama productions and dances scheduled for next month to benefit Bradley. They're hoping that corporations and members of the community will follow up with major contributions. News Center.
This morning, Bradley never got on the crucial transplant waiting list. He never really got close to that second chance at life.
At 3 o'clock this morning, the battle ended for Danny Bradley. He died of heart failure after 2 weeks of steadily growing weaker. The 41-year-old Del Mar student desperately needed a new heart, but the price tag was $150,000 just to get on a transplant waiting list. Raising that money was his dream.
The hope I have is to get this heart. Otherwise, I'm just not going to make it. They don't give me for long, 6 to 8 months.
Fundraising efforts began only a few months ago. That's because it was only a year ago that Danny learned his rare fatal disease. Fellow Del Mar students and others joined in the effort, and the International Bank set up a trust fund. When Danny died this morning, there was just a little more than $18,000 in the fund, money that may have come too late.
Of course, we'll still continue to take contributions, and if they were ever to exceed any of the expenses, they would be donated to a case of a similar type.
Danny Bradley knew that he could die at any time, but he had a strong will to live. His greatest fear was that of dying before ever getting on a transplant list. But that's exactly what happened. And there are many that hope it won't happen again to someone else. Karen Boudry, News Center 6.
Funeral services for Danny are scheduled for Friday, 10 o'clock in the morning, Cage Mills on Everhart.
Well, today for a Corpus Christi man who lost his battle with a rare heart defect on Wednesday. Danny Bradley captured the hearts of many in his efforts to raise enough money for a life-saving heart transplant. As Leslie Comet reports, his memory will linger on with those who helped in that fight.
Today, Danny Bradley's struggle for life was put to rest. A small gathering of friends and family attended his service, but they were only a few among many who had been touched by Danny's plight. The 41-year-old husband and father had been battling a congenital heart defect. His only hope was a transplant. While raising the needed $85,000 to be placed on a waiting list seemed unattainable, Danny soon found he was not alone in his quest. His fellow students at Del Mar College, both friends and strangers alike, joined together to push Bradley towards his goal. But his heart failed before enough money was raised, leaving his friends he left behind asking why.
The Danny Bradley story is the success of Danny Bradley's courage, but a fear of our society that we didn't come forward and replace that heart. And as a result, this is a burning issue, the students at Del Mar College, that this could happen. It should not have happened.
But Danny's fight will live long in the minds of many. Earlier this week, he told his family he wished he could have been famous for something he'd done rather than for something he needed. While he might not have known it, he did do that something. He brought the community together for a common cause, and no doubt changed many people's lives forever. Leslie Comet, Newswatch 10.